I'm really glad we're bringing up China. By the way, I agree with the good doctor. We're not going to see $80 a barrel. We're not going to see a significant spike. Oil's actually trading down a little bit this morning on news that the U.S. will protect ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. But on the China topic, listen, this is arguably a TKO in the trade war with China. First, we took the Venezuelan oil, which is also a significant part of Chinese supply, out of the supply chain for them. Now we're talking about taking Iranian oil out of the Chinese supply chain. It's going to have a significant detrimental impact on their economy, on their GDP, and perhaps most importantly, on their ability to take offensive action against Taiwan. Most of the folks that I talk to that are global geopolitical strategists have said, and I agree, that this now has eliminated China's ability to take offensive action in Taiwan. That is great news. Great move on the president's part by dealing this TKO to China in this trade war. Remember, guys, they restricted our access to all the rare earth minerals. So this is a pretty nice way of getting back at them, to be very candid.
All right, new this morning, European markets rallying after a New York Times report released describing how operatives from Iran's military intelligence reached out directly to U.S. Central Intelligence, offering to discuss terms of ending the conflict. We have seen some reaction in a positive way in U.S. markets as well. Dr. Peter Earle, your thoughts here, and really, what can Iran do at this time, watching your naval fleet sinking to the bottom of the ocean?
Well, their options are rapidly closing. I mean, I think if they wanted to do one thing, it would be to try to bait us into putting troops on the ground and then start some sort of insurgency. I don't even think that's very likely, though. I think what we're going to see in the near term is we're going to see a lot of strategic shifting because, as Mr. LoPresti said, you know, the two cheap gas stations in the world, Venezuela and now Iran, are pretty much closed. So for that reason, you know, there's going to be a lot of I think, restructuring relationships, supply chains, that sort of thing. I mean, we have to watch out for existential events, you know, that could come out of Iran. I don't even want to speculate on what those could be, but to be sure, they're reaching out to the Central Intelligence Agency, to the administration. This shortly after offensive operations began shows, I think, that their options have rapidly diminished.
Mark, real quick, so China, TKO, where there's China, there's Russia, and then, of course, Ukraine. So how does this play into ending the war in Ukraine? Does it weaken Russia as well?
Well, you know, I think that still remains to be seen. But what I am pleased to see is the lack of what we were hoping we would not see, which is a rush to the aid of Iran on the part of countries like China and Russia. We just didn't see it. I think a very smart move. Look, guys, I think at the end of this, and this is not going to be a long, drawn-out conflict, I'm going to tell you right now, but I think at the end of this, we're actually going to find a global playing field, a geopolitical playing field, where we are in better relations and tighter relations with our neighbors in the Middle East, and maybe even in with Russia, which could lead to an end of the war in the Ukraine. I hope and pray for that.